So Robert, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Yes, thank you for sharing your mighty golden microphone.
Yeah? You like it?
It's very disco.
You're
Yeah.
very disco.
I'm ready.
A bit of glam, not that you had it in your music, but who knows?
No, it's right under the surface. Everything's right under the black surface.
Yeah?
A little bit.
Like especially on this last album? You think?
Especially, no, it's just always there. It's just, it just depends how many layers you want to peel back before you get pure gold.
Yeah, you do that a lot. Like it's all in, and then you peel it back a lot.
I don't know.
It doesn't
I mean,
resonate like that.
musically, I think we like to have more. There's more layers than usually people kind of think of it off the top of the head, but that you actually have to listen to it to get there. You can't just think about it in theory.
And one thing I love about Black Rebel is because you have so many albums and all of them are very cohesive in the way that we know it's your album, but you delve in so many kind of music dimensions, like from rock to shoegaze to psychedelic to folk, and it's always epic. And for the last two ones, it kind of went like a more moody way, like a more moody sound. Why was that?
We've always been pretty moody, I think.
Yeah?
At least that's what we're told. And we feel pretty moody. But maybe the last two, like there's something, I don't know, not cinematic, but a little less of the formula of kind of rock song, like trying to take people in different places. I find that now and then, but it's still a rock band, so we try not to kind of muck it up too much.
It is a rock band. Thank you a lot for being a rock band.
No, for those tuning in right now.
Yeah. This is a rock band.
This is a rock band with a solid gold, heart of solid gold.
Yeah,
microphone.
and because there are certain albums that I obviously like the most, obviously, but I want to talk to you about them because I've never interviewed you, and I'm a big fan, so you gotta put up with me just a little bit.
Better than the other, okay.
Since from the BRMC, and I love Howl, obviously, and Baby 81. Actually, we have like a correspondent in Australia that was in one of your shows probably like 2 months ago or something. 1 month
Correspondent?
ago, yeah, in Melbourne.
You have correspondents all over.
No, I don't. All over.
Are we gonna go live
England
to
and Australia? Yeah.
That would
And
be cool.
The guy just wrote that like he was totally crazy about the band who broke the floor because he said like we're gonna break this shit again, and he was crazy about the Berlin Live, the song from Baby 81.
Yeah.
It's still one of the songs that you really like playing the most live.
That whole the Baby 81 album still feels like sonically it was it was one. That album feels like sonically we captured, and it's not easy, like a 3-piece live electric band, but also there, we were able to kind of layer all these different pieces into the sound, but not have it become a mess or a garagey kind of wash of just noise. There's a lot of color and different depth in that album sonically, which was probably mostly to do with Rick Parker, who helped us engineer and co-produce that one. So he was a genius, and he also helped us with Howl, which also was, he just had a gift, with being able to record, something as dense as what we were trying to do, and still kind of, not just kind of flatten it all out. So yeah, I'm surprised that I didn't know we actually did that album that well until about 4 years afterwards, and I listened back to it, and it sounded completely
Yeah, you have
different
that
from what I
perspective when
remember.
you're doing it,
Yeah.
and then after that, when you go back,
And you don't
and
listen
you
to it again for years.
And whoa,
Yeah.
maybe that's really good.
It's a good, yeah, because you're too close to it for
Yes,
like
obviously.
a long, long time
Yeah.
with all of it.
That's good. And I have to ask you something. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I have to ask you about the Spectre at the Feast and the song you covered from your father's band, The Call. Let the Day Begin.
we covered
Yeah.
Let the Day Begin for the Spectre album, and I think he passed away while we were on tour, and it was
Belgium, right?
Yeah, we were. It was very unexpected and very hard for all of us to kind of get through that.
Yeah,
So
cope with
we
it.
were looking for a song at the time of his that we could kind of, honor and celebrate his life and music as well. And there was, I never actually thought we would cover that one because I didn't like that song
Like that song?
particularly.
You had a
I
chance
don't
to
know.
make it your own, a little bit.
Well, yeah, that was kind of the trick, and we Leah started this drum beat, and everything kind of turned on its head, and it almost didn't seem recognizable. And there was a moment where I remember thinking, should I start singing some other melody right now, or should I, because we were just jamming. And I knew the second I sang one of his words, everyone would, only be able to hear that song again with that music. But yeah, there was a moment when I thought maybe I'll come up with a different melody and lyrics. But it felt like it was very natural, and it felt like that song chose us, more than anything else.
That's lovely. And actually, someone who chose your song was Top Gear.
Top Gear?
Yeah, it was a trailer for the second season of Top Gear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Let the Day Begin. It was epic.
I never saw Top Gear.
You never did?
No.
You're not into cars at all.
I am. I just don't I drive them more than watch people talk about them.
Yeah, I do, but the guys are so funny. And I thought it was so epic, that trailer with the Let the Day Begin, and they're driving like really cool American cars like Camaros and Mustang Shelbys and stuff like that. It was really cool.
It was like the theme song?
It was a theme song.
I don't know. You might be right.
I'm right about it. Yes, I am. It was really cool. And let's just talk a little bit more about Wrong Creatures, because you put out 2 singles, and they're not my favorite, but because
Fair
I'm sorry, I have to say it, because I really, really love Hunt and Echo, and Echo has like this. It's a bass-driven song, isn't it?
Driven.
And I think it's just brilliant. I love that song because it kind of portrays almost everything you ever done in one song.
Thank you, maybe. I think it's a very melodic song. I love like how many melodies that you can kind of find in it.
Yeah.
The bass line was I think it was a pretty purposeful, thank you to a nod to Velvet Underground, but I loved the idea of kind of, well, Lou Reed specifically, not the Velvets, but he's velvety enough, but
I think it's more like a Transformer kind of.
yeah, and that Wild Side song was I don't know, there was something about that song there's a few songs that have this effect on me that like the moment that you hear them, like the first second they come on, your whole body feels like you feel better and you're along for the ride. And most songs, you're waiting for the words to begin to kind of start the story, and then you get to the chorus and maybe you're finally hooked. But there was a quality that had that that I always love that about music. And there's a couple rare. There's some Neil Young songs like that. There's a Stooges song. There's Walk on the Wild Side in particular. That there's the 2 seconds in and it has you. And I just remember wanting that feeling, which isn't easy, but yeah, worth trying to capture.
Thank you. That is great. So I'm good with echo.
You're good with echo.
Yeah, and the Little Thing Gone Wild. It's I think the most known probably singles from this album, and it's very obviously Black Rebel Motorcycle Club because it's more catchier, I think, melodically. But in this whole album, when you're listening to beginning to end, it's not like the hooks, like the chorus that you used to have that were like almost hymns, and it's more like the sonic escape, like that you can create, more distortion, more like a shoegaze a little bit, and not necessarily to create a song that has a hook, that has a chorus, that has a very melodic and catchy feeling to it. Do you agree in a way? Or no?
Well, yeah, a Little Thing on Wild was, I guess, kind of the easiest song, maybe, for people to kind of
connect with it.
Feel like it's that's the BRMC I know, but the rest of the album feels pretty far from that song, and
exactly.
And it was kind of on purpose. We actually had we wrote too many songs for this album, and we had to take a bunch off, and a lot of the other ones that we took off, and we put them on this black cassette tape that's unmarked, but we put that out just to mess with people. But that was
that's good.
That's kind of, it actually tells the whole story of the album, or you get both sides of the coin, because Wrong Creatures is, for the most part, like more of like a dream kind of dark soundscape that was meant to kind of hold you, you know, kind of in a space and time. And
it's more like for me, it's more like a feeling and taking me somewhere else, and not that I have to necessarily know the lyrics and sing along. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, hopefully between the two of us, somebody does.
So,
but yeah.
Yeah, you have to,
you don't
but I'll
have
be
to.
dancing just, you know. But I'll be spreading love like a fever, but other than that, I'll just be dancing. But actually, I did a radio show before the festival and picked up some songs and some bands that I thought it was essential for people to come and see, and I chose you. And for this album, I actually chose King of Bones because I think it's the mix of the two.
Yeah.
I think it's the mix of the whole album, and it's the mix of The Little Thing Gone Wild. It's a mix of both parts. It's a great song. Can you tell me a little bit about that one, King of Bones?
Yeah, it started off feeling very... It was like a bass riff and just a drum part for years that didn't really know where else to go with it. And it reminded me of kind of this tones on tail Bauhaus thing that just stripped down to those two elements. And then we recorded it, and we were all really hoping, me in particular, that it would sound great, but it honestly didn't. And I was really depressed about that.
Really?
And I wanted to throw the song off the album. And then I spent a few weeks just creating these different
You didn't
like
give up on it?
No, there was all the synth keyboard lines mixed with the guitar parts that were put in. It created a different song to me than how we'd kind of first approached it, and it wasn't easy because not everyone thought it should go that way. So it was very like, you know, a tug of war. Well, maybe you didn't hear the other one, so you gotta. But I was really proud of how it came out, and that it survived, that it didn't get thrown on the trash heap of history.
lovely hope story. But
Yeah.
can you just, I have to approach this one last thing. 20 years of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, right?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it is. I think
Oh yeah, that's right.
on a road or probably like that, time kind of takes a from a different level than from us mere mortals, right? Because it doesn't feel like 20 years, does it? Not even for me, but for you.
20 years.
Years.
Oh well, 98. So that's
Yeah,
when we first started. I mean, it feels like 20 minutes and 200 years at the same time somehow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I
say 20
understand
years.
that, yeah.
It feels like it was
That's a beautiful
yesterday,
description.
and it's
Yeah,
also a lifetime
a
ago.
lifetime ago.
So, but music and the way you kind of create it is very insular, and then just with the few people you're working with, and then it kind of then you give it away to this imaginary world, and then you get in another bubble or a van or a bus, and you take that bubble around the world, and you don't really get to see that much of the world, but they tell you that you've seen it, and they tell you this much time has passed, and so I'm hoping that you're telling me the truth, and that it's real.
You're in Lisbon?
I'm Lisbon, and
Trust me.
I'll trust you that that's where we are, and that's how far we've come, because I have no clue other than what's written down in these pages.
These pages.
So.
And when you go on stage, you'll be rocking this main stage tonight. Is there?
Maybe.
Yeah, of course you are. And do you have any kind of margin for any kind of improvisation, or do you have everything like super, rehearsed or something like that? Because it doesn't feel like it, because you're like animals on stage and you kind of release everything, and it's really beautiful to see. Is there any part of where the improvisation can actually take place?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it in festivals as much as
You
like
don't have
the
that
club
much
shows.
time.
Yeah, because I mean, we've done it that way with festivals, and you either end up pissing someone off because you played too long or too short. Either way, everything's got to be mathematical. So we there's places in the songs where we'll stretch them out or try some different things, but it can also quickly, improvisation can quickly turn to just bad playing if everyone's not kind of
In the mood.
in the mood or that headspace. And I think like festivals feel more like you're always trying to just like keep some, it's like bull riding. You're trying just to stay alive and stay on top of this thing. In club shows there's more freedom. You're more comfortable to kind of
So I can
take a wild
conclude
ride.
that you have to come back to a venue of your own, because we need that. The last
well,
time I
if you
saw
want-
you here,
if you
it
want
was
the
in a
improv-
festival too, on the other side of the river near a beach, and it was a very long time ago. It feels to me like a long time ago, but I don't know, like 2011
Yeah, that
or
was
something like that.
that was a while ago.
Yeah, and now you're back in a festival, so we need you in a venue.
We've been fortunate though. We've got to come to Portugal. I think more than we've played here. We've had a few trips downtown.
Yeah, you've been
And,
like a tourist.
Yes, we've been like a tourist.
What do you know? You know just Lisbon or something?
I know mostly the southern point. We usually would find a cheap hotel and get
that's
thrown
great.
out of that one, and then find another one and get thrown out of that. But we'd spend like a week,
On the beach.
on the
Listening
beaches
to
and
Neil Young.
riding bikes and listening to Neil Young. But it is probably the city of everywhere in Europe that we've spent the most time just kind of, being kind of nursed back to health in, or maybe nursed out of health. But I love it. I love it. I really love it. There's something about the energy and the atmosphere that's unique. The people that everyone. It feels like everything's going to work out. Everything's going to be all right. And if it doesn't, that's all right too.
Oh yeah, that's great. Even
So
if we
I
just
do like.
kind of like do a bunch of security on you.